Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 3 of the Banter Era. Some of you viewers may have noticed that Chris and I have aged a little bit in between episode 2 and episode 3.
Well, become long-sighted for a start.
These things happen. What we've realised is that actually researching this does take it out of you. It's not an easy task going back into the banter years.
You look several years older than the previous episode. It's because viewers,
do I? Oh, thanks for the
feedback. we did record the previous 2 episodes quite some time ago. If you were very eagle-eared, you might have noticed some references to Biden and Trump, which rather dated it. But we're bang up to date now. We're recording this in March, and it should come out not too long afterwards. But it promises to be a lot of fun, doesn't it, Paul?
It does, mate. We've got some absolute belters on today's episode and the following episodes that I can't wait to get into. Starting, Chris, with someone who I'm not sure if you're a big fan of her.
I haven't really got any strong opinions either way, but it's funny. We're talking about Elizabeth Warren, often known as Pocahontas, due to her claiming Native American heritage, which I believe turned out to be at best an exaggeration, as Trump kept pointing out. So here she is in early 2019, and I think I suppose she's making a run for the presidency at this point, or at least trying to get her name out there. And I think she had a bit of a reputation as being something of an ivory tower liberal wonk. And she wanted to come across as a bit more of a, blue collar type. So she went on Instagram and made a little video of her just doing normal things, Paul. This is probably just a normal day for her. Chilling out, having a beer. Husband happens to be there. He says hello. And you're really warm to her by the end of it because you see how normal she is. Let's have a look.
Let's see.
There we go. I'm glad for everybody who's joining this video. It's great to hear from you. Hold on a sec. I'm going to get me a beer.
Should have done that before you started rolling the camera, really.
Talk about wasting our time as viewers. You stay there. I'm gonna go do something.
Hey, Clover, my husband Bruce is now in here.
Bruce?
You want a beer?
No, I'll pass on the beer for now.
You sure? Come over and say hello to folks.
Yes.
What a loser
So,
Bruce is.
this is my sweetie.
Hello.
He's the best. And I'm crazy. I love you too. Thank you for being here.
Pleasure.
I'm glad you're here.
Enjoy your beer.
I'm glad you're here.
So, who we got here so far?
So she's just a normal person. She's just enjoying a beer.
I have interactions like that all the time, Chris. I don't know about you.
Hey, my wife's here. Care for a beer? Like to say hi to the people at home. So this, a lot of people found this quite amusing. Not least her nemesis, really, Donald Trump, who tweeted several times
What did he have to say?
about it. Said, if Elizabeth Warren, often referred to me as Pocahontas, did this commercial from Bighorn or Wounded Knee instead of her kitchen, with her husband dressed in full Indian garb, it would have been a smash. And then best line in the Elizabeth Warren beer catastrophe is, to her husband, thank you for being here. I'm glad that you're here. It's their house. He's supposed to be. And then a year later, when she, I think, crashed out of the nomination, whatever, routine for becoming the Democrat nominee, Trump was boasting about a lot of people, not least Mini Mike Bloomberg doing very badly, but particularly about Elizabeth Warren. He hadn't forgotten the advert, even though it's more than a year later. And tweeted, Elizabeth Warren, sometimes referred to as Pocahontas, is having a really bad night. I think she's sending signals that she wants out. Calling for unity is her way of getting there, going home and having a nice cold beer with her husband.
I can't believe it didn't work out with her with such normal approaches. Good Lord.
Maybe the American voters are just prejudiced against such normal blue-collar, working-class, ordinary people in a happy relationship.
It's a great example there of Trump being genuinely hilarious.
Absolutely. Those were the days, weren't they?
Those were the days, yeah. Not so funny anymore.
In many ways, not.
Not so funny.
Shall we move on swiftly?
Yeah,
to
this is... this is
a very normal person.
Another full-on normal politician completely bombing in the media. There's a few clips that we have in the Banter area where I find it so painful to listen to. And this is one. Green Party leader Natalie Bennett, absolutely horrendous interview on LBC. It's with Nick Ferrari.
Nick Ferrari.
Another scalp. We have him on a few times.
We will see more on Nick. This is from the 2015 general election when the the leader of the Green Party. They probably had two. They often have two leaders, don't they? But she was at least one of the... Well, she couldn't be more than one, I suppose. But she was either the leader or the co-leader of the Green Party. And she had plans to build a lot of houses. 500,000 houses she was going to build for £2.7 billion, which, if you do the maths, is just over $5,000 a house.
Well,
seems cheap, doesn't it?
It does seem on the cheap side, Chris. I'm not going to lie.
So Ferrari quizzed her about this, and she was not able really to back up her claims.
Hit it on the old foot. Give us the full.
Absolutely.
Give us the full version.
The Greens will ensure everyone has a secure, affordable place to live. How would that be brought about?
Well, a couple of things that we want to focus on here. In terms of council housing, we want to build 500,000 new social rent homes. That means council...
Where will you get the money from for that?
Well, what we want to do is fund that particularly from removing the tax relief on mortgage interest for private landlords. We have a situation where private landlords at the moment are basically running away with a situation of hugely rising rents. They're collecting large amounts of housing benefit.
But how much would that be worth, the mortgage relief for private landlords?
Well, that's part of the whole costing of all of this.
Yeah, but how much will that bring? I mean, the cost of 500,000 homes, let's start with that. How much is that going to be?
Right, well, that's you've got a total cost that will be spelt out in our manifesto.
So you don't know?
No,
you don't. Right.
She really just said no there and just could have ended it.
The way it's going to be funded is mortgage relief from private landlords. How much is that worth?
Right. Well, what we're looking at in terms of the figures here, what we need to do is actually we're looking at a total spend of 2.7 billion.
500,000 homes, 2.7. What are they made of? Plywood.
But basically, what we're talking about is 500,000 new homes, and basically each £1 spent on this brings back £2.40.
Yeah, but what is the total cost of 500,000 homes?
It's about a cost of 60,000 per home.
60,000 per...
Because what we're talking about is the opportunity
but
for...
that can't include the land.
Well, what we're talking about is what we want to see is the possibility of homes being built.
That's not much more than a large conservatory, £60,000. So where's the land? How are you going to pay for the land?
Right. Well, what we're looking at doing is basically.
Oh yeah, the old.
Sorry, as you can probably hear, I've got a huge cold.
I'm terribly sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
So what we need to do is basically social rental homes.
Right. Still don't see how you're going to get this sum at 60. You don't actually know how much this is going to cost, do you?
Yeah, we have a fully costed program which we'll be releasing which we've released.
Shouldn't you be aware of what that cost would be now?
Right, yes. So what we're talking about is $6 billion a year. So the current budget is $1.5 billion a year.
$6 billion.
Yeah.
So that will be attained by taking mortgage relief from private landlords. That's £6 billion worth, is it?
And we're also looking in investing. Yeah, well, we've got the fully costed figures here.
You've said that on a couple of occasions. How much does mortgage relief from private landlords bring in then?
Basically, we're talking about an overall saving of £4.5 billion from the overall forms.
Mortgage relief is worth £4.5 billion a year?
And this is other
from
savings as well from private landlords as well. We're looking at housing benefit reforms, and what we also want to do is bring in caps on private tenants.
Yeah. Do you think you might have perhaps genned up on this a bit more, Natalie Bennett?
Get a few more coffees.
We're talking about a whole range of issues.
No.
Here
But you personally, might you have genned up a little? Might you have made into this perhaps a little more in hindsight?
Well, what we're talking about is a whole range of issues this morning, ranging from the economy,
Not a question. They're going to ignore the
I've only
question.
time for two, unfortunately. I wish we had more time.
He's very polite, isn't he, Nick Ferrari?
Yeah.
And that's what makes him so lethal. Rapier, isn't it, really? If he was really going for it, you go, well, fair enough. Anybody would start coughing and spluttering and pausing and sounding very nervous. But he was giving her a good chance again and again to give a reasonable answer to a straightforward question. After that, she used a word that I think I'd never heard at the time, which was brain fade.
Brain fade.
People said, what happened on that LBC interview? And she goes, I was, as you could hear, very ill. And I suffered from brain fade. New one to me at the time.
Ferrari's great because unlike characters like Piers Morgan who just will shout over people, Ferrari just lets them sit there and squirm and suffer and I like his at the end.
I like his start. We got, as you say, got him come up next episode, I think.
Oh, yeah, you get some heads.
Now, another politician.
Yeah, now...
Another titan of politics.
Yeah.
Tell us about him, Paul.
So Greg Knight was a man ahead of his time, I think, Chris. What he realised, a man connected to the youth and the digital age, he realised that to cut through to the public, make a difference, to win his seat, he needed to do more than just walk the streets of the constituency, knocking on doors, being Greg through and through. He wanted to reach new voters and young people.
Yeah. And that required mastering social media, didn't it?
For Greg, beyond mastering, he went one step further. He assembled his entire team, get in the office, we're doing a video, we're going to speak to camera, we're going to let people know what Greg Knight's policies are all about. We're not going to spare any expense. It's going to be slick, it's going to be produced.
Rehearsed to the to the letter.
And the end product is something that, I still aspire to as someone who runs a podcast studio. I often see content like this and think,
yes,
Greg, you were ahead of your time. And he won his seat. It must be, this worked.
Yeah, probably a fairly safe seat, I'm guessing. But
yeah, I mean, I think it's probably one of the safest seats in the country. But that didn't stop Greg. He didn't sit on his laurels.
No.
He said, team, getting in. We're going digital.
He set a new standard for political communications with this advert. Let's have a look at it.
Yeah, it's something else.
Hello, my name's Greg Knight. I'm the Conservative candidate for East Yorkshire. There's a general election on the 8th of June, and I hope if you live in East Yorkshire that you'll vote for me. When you vote in an election, you're doing two things. You're choosing who is your local representative, but you're also choosing a Prime Minister. I hope you'll vote for me and support Theresa May. We want a strong and stable government, not a coalition of chaos led by Jeremy Corbyn.
You'll get accountability with Conservative delivery. Make sure this time you get it right. Vote for Greg Knight.
It's so brilliant.
It's superb. It's very slick. And I like the way you got in the slogan as well.
Oh, we get the slogan.
Strong and stable.
Yeah.
Pushed in Theresa May there, who at
like
the time was considered to be a bit of an election winner.
No expense
Bit of an
spared.
asset.
Yeah, he said to it, listen, don't worry about a gimbal or anything to keep the camera straight. Just walk straight. Just keep it authentic. Keep it real.
Yeah.
Just walk straight towards the wall.
Have the microphone some distance away from it.
Don't worry if
I'll
you
just
wobble on
speak
the
up.
way to the thing. Ahead of his time. Ahead
Beautiful
of his
stuff.
time.
Beautiful stuff. Nothing more to say about Greg, is there really?
No, other than congratulations, Greg, on a win post.
Yeah, well, because obviously 2017 election was not a great outcome for the Tories. So
No, it was
you couldn't be by any means guaranteed you're going to keep seat.
That on your laurels,
I wouldn't be surprised if he increased his majority.
And I think people will have seen that around the country and thought, listen, I'm not in Greg's constituency, but with people like that in the party, show me the box, I'm ticking blue.
I'd vote for him and everything he stood for.
Yeah.
More politics now, but this of a more Brexity kind. So don't ask me what year this was. I should know. I am a banter historian after all, but
like I said, it's taking it out of us. We've got brain fade.
It was one of about 4 years, potentially. Probably, I'd guess 2017, let's say. Same as the last one. So there was would you call it a flotilla? I don't know. Some sort of waterborne protest by pro-Brexit fishermen down the Thames. And Farage was there, Nigel Farage was there, along with some other Leave politicians, and a counter demonstration sprung up, and you suddenly had some more or less piracy going on in the Thames, because Bob Geldof had brought along a lot of his mates, and they started having a go at the fishermen from their yacht. Let's have a little look at some of the news coverage of this.
But Remain had been tipped off, outswept a counterforce. Little boats and large, under Admiral Sir Bob Geldof, with this broadside.
Nigel, you're a fraud. Britain makes more money than any other country in Europe from fishing. Britain has the second largest quota for fish in Europe after Denmark. 3. Britain has the third largest landings. You're a fraud, Nigel. Go back down the river, because you're up one without a canoe.
To the dismay of Remain colleagues, Geldof's signals were somewhat crude. This, I'm told, is semaphore for anchor. But this UKIP MEP gave as good as they got.
Millionaires just love it in the EU. What about working seamen? Not one sailor on your boat. So what do you think?
Lacking a megaphone there, isn't he, at this point?
Hardly needs one. So that was all fun and games. You saw Kate Hoey there as well, with Farage. And then, I mean, the fishermen weren't going to take this lying down from a bunch of London Metro libs.
Absolutely not.
So they managed to board the yacht somehow. Let's have a look at this.
Then fishermen from a boat called Wayward Lad boarded the Geldof boat with some help from Sir Bob.
You're all wrong. And I will stand on this boat and I'll say you are wrong and you are wrong and you are wrong and you're wrong. Not one of you lot look like you've come out of Southend-on-Sea. None of you have come from Essex. Maybe you, sir, or you're London, yeah? But that is it. We played down there so many times. You and you're London through and through. I'm Irish.
That was good fun. I'll tell you what, there was
we've played there.
There was a picture of Kate Hoey and Farage. So look at that, which some people said was quite similar to a great episode of I'm Alan Partridge.
Oh, that's brilliant.
When he's walked away to have a good time. Yeah, so that
I love Geldof's justification. We've played there many times.
Yeah, played there.
I know what it's like. I know the struggle of a working man. I'm a multimillionaire. I've played in your town. Oh, yeah, fair enough.
So that was Brexit for you. I don't think we've mentioned Brexit so far, have we, in the series? Obviously, Brexit was a very, very big thing in the Banter Era and provided a lot of the banter.
Yeah.
But we've only got one or two clips.
Oh, we talked about Thingy last episode.
Who? Farage?
The chiver that just gave loads of like endless Twitter good bants. Lord Ald.
Adonis.
He was Aldonis.
Yes, yes, well, he was a
Brexit
master
changed
of
his sexuality. Some say.
Apparently so. Yeah. Right, we're cracking through these. This is good, Paul. Let's move on. Let's get away from politics. I think we've had enough.
Let's get to the working man.
This is a proper geezer. He's already been on the show, hasn't he? Episode 1. But this, do you want to introduce it? Tell us about where this came from and where it went.
A lot of people see Danny Dyer and assume that, he's just a working man. He's a boy who's done good. But Danny wanted to find out a little bit more about where has he really come from. And he went on that wonderful show. The name of the show, Who Do You Think You Are?
Who do you think you are?
Deep dive into your history, get the family tree out and find out who you are. Now, we're about to join the episode where Danny is processing the cold, hard facts that he might be a working man now, but he's directly related to King Edward III.
He is indeed. Let's see.
A beautiful moment.
Edward III of England.
Can't be. Can't be. A direct descendant from Edward III. So Danny Dyer's right at the bottom of that scroll, and Edward.
Yeah, that's how family tree works, Danny.
It's just stupid, isn't it?
It's great. It's fantastic. It's quite amazing.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it? It really is. I just need to just digest it and get it in my nut, and then I can move on with my life. And I think I'm going to treat myself to a rough.
What, the...
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be a good look for you.
Just get a massive ruff, just bowl about with it, and if anyone questions it, and then I'll explain to them why I'm wearing a ruff.
That's true, yeah.
And then they'll have to walk away, won't they, embarrassed?
Walk away embarrassed. He's so funny, isn't he? I absolutely love Danny Dyer.
And he went back to see his family and tell them the news that they are basically Plantagenets.
Wells, and look, that is my 22 times great-grandfather, Edward III. So basically... The king. The king. And what are you, a prince?
Yeah.
We're blue blood, all right?
No way!
So cop for that. Go on, let's go up.
My God! I knew I was a princess!
Right, it's been lovely. It's been a wonderful journey. But can you get off my drive now, please? Paupers. Go on, get out, Mark. Go on, get out. Go on, as I call me security. So go on. So get out of it. Go on. That's it. Good boy.
Ah, you love to see it. I've only got one question about that, which is, why do they say directly descended from Edward III and not Edward II, who was Edward III's dad? Or indeed Edward I, who was Edward II's dad? Why are they stopping at Edward III? You might have to stop at Edward I because maybe he was the first Plantagenet. I'm not quite sure.
I'm not sure on the family tree rules.
If you're directly related to Edward III, you are definitely directly related, just as much to Edward I. Maybe they ran out of room on the scroll.
Maybe it would sort of take the edge. Yeah.
I don't know. That's just it's not a funny point, but it's just a historical.
Well, when we're banter era historians, this is the sort of questions you ask.
Yeah,
potential dissertation subject there.
Banter, isn't there?
Yeah.
But Danny Dyer, God bless that man.
Wonderful moment.
Next clip, please, Paul.
This is just pure entertainment. It's a great example of the sort of news story you would get in the banter, and you would never see anything like this now.
Never happens anymore.
The media now is everything's so serious. They haven't got any time for stories like this. A wonderful story, really, a story that will touch many of us. We've all had bad dates, but probably not as bad as this one. This is a woman who goes to take a dump on a Tinder date. Tinder doing quite well at the time in the banter era. Many people dating through Tinder, the online dating app.
I suppose so, yeah.
And
well, this is around the date's house.
Yeah, round. Date's gone well, so they've gone back, put a film on, Star Wars, whatever.
She's
you fancy.
touching cloth.
She's thought, this is a problem. We've been out for a few drinks. I'm fired up. I'm gonna have to go to the loo. Struggles. Well, I don't want to spoil the detail of the story, but ends up trapped upside down in a window, trying to fish out some of her feces from said window. Realizes she's stuck. Calls the boyfriend for some assistance, who obviously then takes some pictures
and goes to the BBC.
Takes some pictures first, yeah. then calls I think the fire brigade come and help her, and then goes to the media. Then goes to the news. So
I wonder if they're still going out. Probably not. But anyway, he look at his little face in this. He's loving it, isn't he? Right.
So we had a lovely meal out. We decided that we'd like to continue on back at my place. So we got a bottle of wine and went back to my house to watch a documentary. She went to the toilet, unfortunately it wouldn't flush, and she decided to throw it out the window. Now my house is a bit quirky. The bathroom window doesn't actually open out to the outside garden, it opens out into a little air gap, and there's a double glazed window between that and the outside garden. So unfortunately her business got stuck in the air gap between the two windows. She was reaching into the window with a plastic bag over her hand to try and reach the poo out of the window. Now she couldn't quite reach, obviously, it's quite a deep window, so she basically put her head and her shoulders into the window. She was then upside down in the window. She did manage to grab the poo in the plastic bag. She passed out to me, I put it back in the toilet, that was all fine. Fortunately at that moment she asked me to help her get out, and she was stuck. She was a lot calmer than me. She was a lot more cool, calm and collected than I was.
You were taking pictures, you grass.
We did actually finish the bottle of wine and decided to call it a night there. The window's going to cost probably £300, £400, which just isn't money that I have available to me. So one of my friends actually suggested that we should set up a GoFundMe page.
What a little...
well, I'm really busy with my dissertation at the moment, but as to what the future holds, I don't know. She was certainly a very, very nice girl.
What a character.
That made his life, didn't it? Really?
He was so happy about grassing up.
I thought he said he was going to invoice her when he said it cost £300. I don't understand his setup, though, in the bathroom. Why would you have a gap like that between two different windows? I can understand double glazed. That makes a lot of sense. I can understand single glazed. What I don't understand is having one pane of glass and then a foot of space for someone to get trapped in. And then
I don't trust it. I don't trust him.
Yeah, it's something odd.
Could have been a sting. He's the sort of character who's tried that a few times. You know what I mean? He just wants the media attention, a good story. So he set a trap.
He was eager to go to the press.
Toilet, put something in a drink.
Do you think she agreed to? Do you think he asked her? Do you mind if I go speak to the Sun about this or whatever? Or he just did it? She's noticeable by her absence in that.
Yeah,
item, isn't she? You'd think the media would be going after the woman to get her side.
Yes, but equal rights as well.
I strongly suspect she wasn't that happy about him.
I think she was
a worldwide
probably
news story.
I think she was fairly furious. Yeah, whereas he's absolutely delighted. Glad he let us know what happened to the feces.
Yes,
retreat went down the toilet. Okay,
so that was fine.
But yeah, don't see stories like that anymore.
More's the pity. Next item. We're back to politics, Paul.
Am I doing Richard? You do this one, Richard Berg.
I'll do it if you like. Yeah,
you do this one.
Richard Bergen, one of my favourite politicians. big fan of thrash metal and socialism, and
much like yourself, Chris.
Like myself. I'm pretty sure this would be prior to the 2019 general election, which didn't go so well for the hard left, or indeed the Labour Party. And what we're going to see here is Richard Bergen getting owned by Sky's Kay Burley twice in the space of a week. They're very quick clips, so eyes down. But here's him being interviewed about the Labour Party's prospects in the upcoming election.
We want the Tories out as soon as possible. We want to sort out Brexit. We also want to sort out austerity, which has lasted for 9 years.
Polls say you won't win.
Pardon?
The polls say you won't win.
The polls said we wouldn't win last time.
You didn't.
But I can...
She makes a good point. Now, that was quite, quite amusing.
It's a very good point.
What's most remarkable, though, is that she then interviewed him again about something slightly different a week later, and more or less exactly the same thing happened.
Liberal Democrats have said they have no interest whatsoever in a partnership as long as Jeremy Corbyn is at the helm. Would that be a deal breaker as far as you're concerned?
Well, I remember the Liberal Democrats wanted Gordon Brown removing as well.
And he was removed.
But it's not...
It's not the sharpest politician.
Yeah, she was on a roll that way, wasn't she?
Not the sharpest, bless him. As you know, Chris, I enjoy a bit of reality TV.
You do?
A common theme running through the episodes that we're recording is my disdain for modern reality TV versus the classic, the connoisseur's reality TV. Now reality TV is not real. Old reality TV, very real.
Do you consider, incidentally, The Traitors to be reality TV? Because I like that. You don't? That's just a game show.
It's too staged, yeah. It's too fake for me. I'm too real for that kind of reality TV. Good game show, but I don't think you could put it in a reality TV
Fair enough.
bracket.
Just
They're all just after the gram. The modern reality TV just finds people on Instagram, so you get like you get like influencer characters, which comes at a cost.
Not real
Old school
people.
reality TV, they just anyone could apply, anyone could go on.
Yep.
Don't get a normal.
So what we're
person
gonna
on
what we're
reality
gonna be
TV.
looking at here?
This is Come Dine With Me, one of
Never
the
really seen
pioneers
it.
of reality. Have you never seen Come Dine With Me?
not
You never watched
really.
Come Dine With Me?
My wife watches it. I walk in and out of the house, so I hear the narrator.
You've never had a phase where it's
Who
just
is
been
the
on?
narrator? I always
It's a
recognise the
Geordie guy,
voice.
isn't he? Yeah, I don't know.
Is he Geordie? I don't know. There you go. Never mind.
But
so, what's the idea of the show for people who don't know?
So for the
You're
5
cooking food
people
for
out there in the world, you being one of them who've never watched Come Dine With Me, it's a show where everybody dines at each of us houses in successions.
Yeah, succession.
Good show.
In a row.
Successive nights.
Successive nights, yeah.
And you just rank them, you just review them, This was out of 10. But the problem with Come Dine With Me...
Sounds quite boring, if you may say so.
Well, it's not boring because they're all bad cooks.
Oh, okay,
so they're all
that's
crap at cooking.
Right.
And they've all like totally inflated egos around the cooking. And it's all nonsense. So like people just tactically vote. So what happens is the best chef gets marked down by everybody because they're like, they were pretty good actually, mark them down, we don't want them winning. And then the bad chefs do a bit better. So it's all very tactical. Right. There's lots of cheating.
What do you win?
Like 200 quid or something. Which probably was less than the meal that you cooked.
Yeah.
So it's a loss-making game.
There's a lot of pride at stake.
There's a lot of pride, and you get the opportunity for superb moments like this, where this gentleman is... They do a classic thing where everybody sits down and you have a scroll, and you slowly scroll back the scroll, hence the name, revealing fourth, third, second, first. Struggling with my words today. And we're going to get to witness live this man's shock that he, in fact, did not win, which he feels is due to tactical voting and a fix. So we get to experience his strong reaction, some might say. Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look.
I don't know why you're shaking your head at me.
You won, Jane.
Oh my God.
Enjoy the money. I hope it makes you very happy. Dear Lord, what a sad little life, Jane. You ruined my night completely so you could have the money, but I hope now you spend it on getting some lessons in grace and decorum, because you have all the grace of a reversing dump truck without any tyres on.
I don't get it.
Well, you wouldn't, let's be honest. There's nobody in there, love.
Wait for the look. Was that
So,
all right?
Jane, take your money and get off my property.
So,
well done, Jane.
Thanks.
Viewers will note the very poor quality of the video. That's because it's actually difficult to get your hands on
Very
this
hard.
video. It keeps getting deleted and removed.
Yeah, we'll probably get sued by
It's hot-
Channel 4 just
it's
for
hot
showing
property,
that version
yeah.
of it.
Yeah, well, watch this episode while you can.
Exactly, enjoy it while you can. He's a competitive chap, isn't he?
Oh yeah. But that was the beauty of the show. Like, you just got unhinged people that couldn't cook, kicking off with each other, and you'd also get this thing where, so his accusation to Jane is that she wrecked his night, but you would get people that like act up or just complain and try and ruin the experience of everybody else at someone else's house. It's got there's games within games and come down with me, Chris. You see, it's not just about the cooking.
I didn't obviously see the whole episode, but if you asked me which of those people had a sad little life, I would probably say him.
Definitely, yeah.
My opinion. My opinion, maybe.
I like the glance to camera that he provides when he's just like, it's kind of,
have I gone too far?
No, it's all right, carry on.
Smashing stuff, not too shabby. Now, let's move on to, from a sad little life to a sad little man, some people would say. James Corden, the allegedly popular comedian / entertainer / actor. Yeah, this is a bit cringe, some of this. The moment I'm picking as one of the great banter moments is his Ask Me Anything on Reddit, where he was starting to do a new show of some sort, I don't know, carpool karaoke or something like that. So he decided to promote it by going on Reddit and asking people to ask him anything, seemingly under the impression that he was universally liked. And
which he was briefly during Gavin and Stacey, I think it's fair to say.
Not by me, even then.
You didn't even like him in Gavin and Stacey?
I don't really like Gavin and Stacey. I think he's overrated. It's my opinion.
But
even people who like Gavin and Stacey don't normally like him. Do you know what I mean? They make an exception. Get the old readers on it. So you might need to, you will need to censor some of this, because as you might expect, some pretty abusive language. I'll read you just some. Just give it a fraction of the indignant responses that Corden faced. Said, James Corden, hey, just wanted to say thank you for taking the time to do this AMA for the Reddit community. I don't really know much about the work you do, and if anyone's fault, it's mine. I don't watch too much television. I mainly stream stuff. Anyways, on to the question. I've recently heard that you're an asshole in real life. Any truth in this? James, I read this Reddit thread that says that you're an asshole who treats people like Is that true or false? And if true, are you doing anything to correct this? Have you ever considered being funny or likable? Are you aware that everyone thinks you're a hack and a talentless asshat? Is it true you're a raging in real life? What is it like being internationally known despite having half the talent of a disposable glove? Are you really a huge asshole in real life, like tons of people claim? James, is it true that you ate all the pies? Exactly at what point in your life did you find out that you aren't funny? I've never met anyone who actually likes you. Have you ever met anyone who actually likes you? Hi, James. What motivates you to be a complete and utter dickhead all the time? Why are you... hey, James, you won't remember me, but me and my friends sat at the table next to you with Harry Styles and some others in Mancunian Legends in London's Chinatown about 6 years ago. We didn't bother you, but you were a massively entitled yelled and treated the waitstaff like and when one of my party politely suggested you calm down, you got really aggressive and threatening in a chubby way, like a boozy panda. So my question is this. Why did Harry seem so cool while you were such a massive throbbing bell end? A couple more. How does anyone find this congealed blob of shit very entertaining? I would pay good money to watch Sir Patrick Stewart shatter his nose into 1,000 pieces. So are you aware everyone hates you, or is this the first time you found out? Now, speaking of Sir Patrick Stewart... there's a very, very cringy video in which they have a go at each other at some award ceremony. And you can't even really get 100% behind Patrick Stewart, because he acts like a bit of an irritant as well, doesn't he?
Absolute bell off.
So they have this very, very awkward argument in which they try to own each other, but none of the jibes really comes off. I mean, Patrick basically calls him fat, which is an obvious thing to say, but also quite a low blow when there's so many other things to go for. Yeah. And Corden looks like he's ready to lamp him, but he's trying to calm himself down, but weirdly by kind of shouting a lot. Let's have a look at it. You might want to cover your eyes and ears.
I want to speak to James here. It's James, isn't it?
That's quite good.
When the presenters are up here and when the recipients are receiving their awards, don't stand at the back of the stage with your hands in your pockets, looking around as though you wished you were anywhere but here.
Oh, you couldn't be more wrong, sir. You couldn't be more wrong. Oh, genuinely. And if it looked like that, I'm so sorry. But when you come up and present an award, just get on with it. There we go.
From where I was sitting, I can see your belly. And that was right over there at the back of the room. These people down here, you know.
Sorry, I'm waiting for the punchline. Go on. No, seriously, go on.
Okay.
No, go on. You can see my belly, and we can all see you dying right now. Let's go for it. Here we go.
One more. Do you want one more?
Look at him.
If you fancy the Jonas Brothers, cover your belly.
For whatever it's worth, I like your belly, so.
That's enough of that.
Oh, God. Who comes off worse there?
Exactly. You shouldn't be coming off worse against Corden.
Do you want one more then? Just space it to the same thing.
Yeah, just in case anyone's slightly sympathetic to Corden, let's remind ourselves of what he said days after the Harvey Weinstein controversy broke, when he was presenting another award ceremony in America, and he thought, I'll do some edgy jokes about Harvey Weinstein. But they didn't come off because he judged the mood wrong. There weren't really jokes about Harvey Weinstein. They were sort of just joking about the whole thing. You know, there were jokes about sexual harassment as opposed to having a go at him. Do you know what I mean? Well, you be the judge of it. Let's have a look.
Right here in LA, it's so beautiful. Harvey Weinstein has already asked tonight up to his hotel to give him a massage. I don't know whether that groan was that you like that joke or you don't like that joke. If you don't like that joke, you should probably leave now.
See ya.
It has been weird this week, though, hasn't it? Watching Harvey Weinstein in hot water. Ask any of the women who watched him take a bath. It's weird watching Harvey Weinstein in hot water. Harvey Weinstein wanted to come tonight, but he'll settle for whatever potted plant is closest. Oh, come on!
Now there's a man dying.
That's bad. What's happened there is he's seen Ricky Gervais be absolutely unbelievably hilarious at an award ceremony and roast the room.
Yeah.
And he's gone, I'll be funny, and not roasted the room.
Yes, you can joke about anything, so I'm going to try and do that. But you've got to be good if you're going to do that.
You've got to be a comedian.
You can't be James Corden. Right, we're nearly at the end of the episode.
Insufferable.
Let's end with a bang.
End with a banger on...
With the Donald again.
Yeah, Big Don. Regular feature in the Banter Era, as we've said in episode 1. He's one of the main characters. He's big on the cast. And this is Trump having a phone call with someone where he, you know...
A 7-year-old girl.
A 7-year-old girl, yeah. And he thinks, do you know what? I'm going to... I mean, most of our viewers, I imagine this won't be a shock to, but Santa's not real. And Trump thinks, I'm just going to test the water. And
I think he's genuinely curious.
I'm going to ask the question.
Yeah.
Still believing?
But obviously, by asking the question, you are kind of revealing the answer.
Somewhat.
Somewhat.
Merry Christmas. How are you? How are you doing? How old are you, Coleman?
Thank you so much.
She's not the
Wow, that's pretty good, right? Is everything good? You doing well in school?
Hello, good evening.
Well, that's very good. Well, you just have a good time. Are you still a believer in Santa? Because at 7, it's marginal, right?
I love they use the word marginal as well. As if that's a word that a 7-year-old's going to be.
Thankfully, the media, as they, got to make sure the girl's okay. Got to follow this up.
Yes.
So they found her.
And it turned out, actually, that using words like marginal did help just confuse her.
She had no idea what was going on.
So I think he might have got away with it. Let's have a look.
It began when Trump spoke to a 7-year-old girl whose belief in Santa Claus was questioned by the president. Little Coleman Lloyd was put through to the president after she called the North American Aerospace Defense Command on Christmas Eve to check on Santa's progress.
I said, yes, sir, I want to ask where Santa is in the world. And he said, instead of getting a special scientist to do it, why don't we get the president?
Melania was at the president's side, also taking calls from children.
Are you still a believer in Santa?
Yes, sir.
Because at 7 it's marginal, right?
Yes, sir.
Coleman says she didn't understand the word marginal, but pretended she did. I was like, wow, I was shocked, she said. She says despite the conversation with the president, she still believes in Santa and even put chocolate milk and cookies out for Santa and his reindeers. Santa is real after all, she says.
Thank God.
Beautiful Christmas story.
I love how the fact that she was speaking to Trump was because she does in fact believe with Santa, and Trump thought, I'm asking anyway. She's literally been put through because she rang.
Yeah, well, yeah, right, exactly.
I'm just ringing to see where Santa is. Oh, let's put you through to the president. What, you still believe in Santa? Yeah, sir, there's a 7-year-old on the phone just wanting to check in on Santa. I got this.
Yeah, you get the impression he hadn't been maybe fully briefed or just didn't care.
Yeah, both.
Both. Just likes a chat. Good on him. All's well that ends well.
All's well that ends well.
Seems to have ended well for that little girl, if not for Trump. Yeah. And for this episode of the Banter Era.
Episode 3, boxed off and done. Catches
next week.
Just over the horizon for episode 4 coming up.
Not too shabby.
Mate, hopefully we don't look, hopefully we don't age.
We'll look very
between
similar,
episodes.
Very similar indeed.
Let's find out. Stay tuned.
Cheery bye.